Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm thrilled to be able to share with you right before the ending of the normal, usual time for Tom Woodruff's poetry of what I call community poetry at Half Price Books in North Austin, Texas, on the first Wednesday of every month, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, to share with you one more reading. I loved being able to go to this open mic and share poetry from recently released Scars Publications books. In this case, I'm going to read the last 4 poems, I think. Last 4, why not? From the most recent release from Scars Publications. They released CC&D Magazine and Down the Dirt Magazine. Today's Down the Dirt Magazine release is actually a book titled Lifeboat. Lifeboat. And Lifeboat is named after a piece of accepted writing within the book, so we found cover art that would seem to match that. And we hope you like the poetry in it, as do a lot of people who submit writing regularly down at the Dirt Magazine. If you'd like to know more about it, go to scars.tv/dirt, and you can submit writing there too as well. I'm going to share with you the last 4 poems that are in this book. This first one is actually titled Queen Decapitated. And it was actually written on the 14th of December, which is the anniversary of the 1542 death of King James V, which ascended Mary Queen of Scots to the throne. That was the day he died, and so Mary Queen of Scots was ascended to the throne at 6 days old. Sorry, I love royalty. It's just great. This is called Queen Decapitated. Nepotism may be all well and good if you're born into the right family. I mean, who does civilization still so love English's inbred, I mean royal family? But sometimes nepotism or not, it might not work out to your advantage. Take, for instance, Plain Jane, I mean Queen Jane, who took the throne not as a daughter, but as a cousin. Hey, that's far too little inbreeding for their tastes. So Lady Jane Grey, as queen, was decapitated after only 9 days at age 16. But today I think of Mary Queen of Scots, the only living child of King James V, who died when she was only 6 days old, making her queen when she was less than a week old. You see, her 2 older brothers died a year before she was born. Records don't show why, but it could have been anything, anything, because disease ran so rampant to the 1500s with no cures. They could have each suffered, say, a splinter leading to infections and certain death. So, she was the Queen of Scotland, eventually marrying her half-cousin and having a child. It's good to see that inbreeding is still a part of the family line. Ruling, and no, brace yourselves for religious content, ruling until the Protestant English wanted the Catholic Queen out of Scotland. When Wankers were ruled by Wankers, she ran then to England, abdicating her throne to her infant son, not unlike how she originally gained power. Mary ran to Queen Elizabeth I, her cousin, once removed, and the Queen of England willingly complied by keeping her imprisoned for 19 years. While there, they found that Mary, Queen of Scots, by sending notes to contacts in the outside world, wanted to have her cousin/captor killed. So Queen Elizabeth I of England had Mary, Queen of Scots, beheaded, which is just another way to say decapitation, the seemingly preferred way to get bad blood out of an inbred family line. Wow. What a tangled web we weave when we mix business with family, and then more family, and then we try to call any of it royalty. Oh my God, can you believe that? It's insane. I'm sorry, that's just insane. There's just me talking about commentating on ancient royalty and politics. This is the next one that I'm going to share with you of 3 remaining poems. This one is called Vaulted to Silhouette the Sky, and it was written on the 23rd of December, which is actually the 583 date for the Maya queen. Yol Iknal. I'm sure I didn't say that correctly, but there's nobody around that's going to correct me, forgive me. But when the Mayan queen is crowned ruler, oh wow, queen ruler of Palenque. Sorry, this is fascinating to me. Sorry, I'm reading it. It's tiny print on the thing. This is called Vaulted to Silhouette the Sky. I gave birth to the greatest leaders of our times. I was also the first female ruler in Mayan history, and was only one of a very few female rulers known from Maya that was born with a royal title. But I'm sure you haven't heard of me or what I have done, because really, why would you think a woman would do anything, amount to anything, or rule anything, even if a woman earned it? Tombs vaulted to me adorn the silhouettes of the sky. I'd be sculpted in the vaults of my offspring, more leaders you'll forget, because how could you? Why would you even remember something you were never taught? You're now patriarchy shuns women being in any power, so you'll brush me under your proverbial rug. Just know that despite your efforts, women can be in power, despite your efforts to the otherwise. Because when we come, we'll rule in a way you never expected, because you never learned, because they didn't teach you, or you chose to not listen. Fascinating. You know, I've just had another press from India ask me to publish a book with them, and it's going to be called, I believe the working title is Shattering the Glass Ceiling. There's a lot of things about sexism and issues of acquaintance rape and the like, and that might be a poem I should add into that book. That sounds like that could be worth it. I've got 2 more poems to read to you. One is longer, and the reason why it's longer is because it's probably a story, because it was written on the 21st of December, which is National Short Story Day in this book, and this is a piece called Key to a Storyline. When a young woman, a researcher, a logical woman, was a scientist in Seattle, she led a research group in a pharmaceutical company to more successes in AIDS drugs for the world. Despite her successes, she learned how she had to jump through both corporate and religious hoops to successfully accomplish her work. Then, out of the blue, a male friend from college, a man now living in New York with money and connections in a well-known publishing company, came to her town on a business trip. They rekindled their friendship, and they suddenly realized that although they were different, at the core they were really the same, and they finally found themselves in love. So, as she worked and discovered from colleagues around the country that the government was stopping their progress with AIDS research, her love, the man she fell for, was attacked in a darkened corner of Central Park one night, and in the process was injected with a needle, and he quickly developed AIDS. This is her work. And this seemed like far too deliberate of an effort to stop her from her succeeding. But she refused to sit back like a helpless, quote-unquote, maiden while everything falls apart. So she made connections, and who knows, she may have talked to too many conspiracy theorists. But when one told her of AIDS being a government plan to eradicate some segments of society, they actually gave her contact locations of where they kept an ultimate cure. Now, this woman was a researcher, a scientist, but she couldn't let this injustice from her government continue. So she worked out. She bought a gun. She practiced and quickly came up with a plan. She took time off work, something she never did, and she collected her cash to make her way across the country with no paper trail and avoided attacks on her life until she was able to find a small sample of that cure that she found only enough to save her love. And without proof of where the sample came from, her hands seemed tied behind her back, and after all this work, she didn't know how to bring the government's wrongdoings to light. After risking her life, the only thing she could do was save her love, but she kept the original vial and planned to extract just enough of this miracle to help her move forward to come up with a vaccine. Because if she couldn't show the world who the real enemy was, she could at least do her damnedest to help the countless others who would otherwise be killed from this cruel and heartless government. And no, this short story might not have the happiest ending, but sometimes happy endings aren't the way life is. The plot still has twists and turns, philosophical conflicts, and of course a love story. And it proves that even when there seems to be no hope in sight, it is possible to find a way to make things work in the end, which is exactly the way life should be. Okay, there was your thing for International Short Story Day. But I've got one more poem I'd like to share with you right at the end of this open mic reading. This is titled Explorers at Heart, and it was written on the 19th of December for the departure of the space shuttle to repair the Hubble Space Telescope, which it did on the 19th in 1999. We are all explorers at heart. When searching beyond what we can conquer, we say, okay, then let us learn. Because as I said, we are all explorers at heart. You see, we explore until our bodies can't take anymore. So we use our big brains to make technology explore for us. You know, like those machines become our slaves. Good thing they haven't mastered emotions and rebel. So sure, we place our technology in outer space to see more, to learn more, to understand more. And of course, our human technology will inevitably, ultimately fail. So let's see if we can master space just enough, just to correct our own mistakes. Because, yeah, we realize the stakes are now so much higher than they were when we first explored. But come on, we're still bumbling idiots, taking one turn, no, two, maybe three, just so that we can continue to explore. So let's do this, even in the last space shuttle flight of the 20th century, just to make our machines work for us as we continue to explore. As we continue to explore, it seems like a good thing to end off the last poem in the last issue of 2021 from Down in the Dirt magazine. This is the 1221 issue, volume 190, titled Lifeboat. I hope you enjoyed those poems, and if you want to know anything about Down in the Dirt, scars.tv/dirt, or the older magazine, CCD magazine, scars.tv/CCD, or just go to scars.tv and check out either one of them. And if you'd like to submit stuff, you can. You can learn about both of these things at scars.tv or at Amazon. I want to thank everybody for listening, for remaining creatively inclined, for being a part of the world, because we need you. And we'll get through this, and stay safe, stay poetically inclined, and I look forward to being able to get together with all of you very, very soon. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.